Hi all, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do a video that you guys tend to like the most, and I also actually have grown to love, even though to this day it still feels like I'm showing you a piece of my diary. So today we are doing a sketchbook tour. I am so excited to show you guys everything that I have in this Strathmore 500 series sketchbook. This is the first time that I have actually tried this brand, and I kind of am in love. It's pretty big for me. This is, it's like the size of my face. I will post what the actual sizes of this sketchbook are, as well as a link, but yeah, we're gonna change camera view to down so you can obviously see what I am showing you, and let's get started. All right, and here she is. So here is my most recently finished sketchbook. This is a Strathmore mixed media. It's the 500 series. It does just have 64 pages, which I actually kind of love because of the size. This paper is a little bit larger than what I normally do. It is 7.75 by 9.75. So definitely a lot larger of a sketchbook than what I normally go with, but I am so glad that I tried this out. Without further ado, we can hop right in. So I do just show that sketchbook, August 2023. I haven't yet put the end date. I actually ended this, I want to say in March. I'll make sure I put that below, but decorated it prior to actually starting it. Had these fun different stickers, and then along the binding put, "Don't be afraid to fail," because I feel like a sketchbook is where you're supposed to experiment and figure out what you like and what you don't like. Without further ado, we'll hop right into the opening page. And I am honestly so proud of this opening page. I had kind of stolen this idea from another one of my sketchbooks and just kind of expanded a little further. So it says, "Welcome to my sketchbook," and it started August 2023, and I need to add in that end date. And so it's just a girl standing out in the rain, and she is growing creativity. And then down here I have my dog Frida holding a crayon and listing out what my goals were for this sketchbook. So it was to test this paper since I had never tried this brand before, as well as push myself and then stay creative. I tend to go back to the same drawings that I've done in previous sketchbooks, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I was just trying to push myself out of what I gravitate towards. And then next to a cup that says "Inspire." And this was done with alcohol markers and colored pencils. And part of the reason why I wanted to do that is I really wanted to be able to test out how well this paper would hold up to alcohol markers, since that has been something that I've gravitated towards a lot here lately. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of ghosting here on this back page. For the rest of the pages, I actually only do one-sided, and then I ended up putting a piece of paper in between the two pages just to ensure that any alcohol marker used over here did not transfer over to the next page. And then this first drawing here is just a drawing of some flowers. I want to say that these are peonies, and this was done with different cross-hatching with my Moji pen, which to this day is probably still one of my favorite pens to work with outside of like a cheapo Bic ballpoint. All right, and this page I was testing out some different color options and just wanting to play through and see how I liked the colored pencils on this sketchbook. There is a bit more of a tooth to this sketchbook than some of the other sketchbooks I've used. I wouldn't say that it's anything too crazy, but when you're using finer materials like a colored pencil, it does tend to be a little bit more noticeable. So splotched out my different colors off to the right just so I could reference those. That's actually something I'm going to try and do going forward in my sketchbooks. and that's just because I want to be able to sometimes go back and like revisit a drawing I did, and I want to be able to do the same colors. And after a couple hundred drawings, it's hard to remember, you know, what color of green this is, what color of purple that is, etc. Oh yeah. And then I bought a set of a Hoo 36 color marker set in the skin tones. This was one of the first times that I'd used the brush and chisel tips. And so I just wanted to splotch those out. That way I could see how it reacted to the paper, just because each sketchbook is a little bit different on how the colors absorb and how they end up showing. And so this is a combination of these markers as well as some colored pencils. So just kind of playing around with the set that I bought and trying to figure out what I liked. And then this was another set that I had bought at that same time, just of some pastels, and wanted to be able to essentially do the same thing. See how the colors responded to the paper. That way I could reference them again. And then I just ended up drawing this like funky disco ball. And yeah, I love how bright it is. I would love to create that into like a sticker. I think that'd be a super fun sticker to have. Oh yeah, the fruit. I forgot that I had done fruit in here. So I was just trying to find something that was easy to draw, that still allowed me to play with the alcohol markers and the colored pencils, just because I'd had so much fun splotching those out on the previous pages. And so just chose some fruits and decided to draw those on the paper. And honestly, I truly feel that all 4 of these are very successful drawings. I love the way the banana turned out. I would say that if I had to pick like a top 2, it would probably be the strawberry and the blueberry. Really like the contrast of the white gel pen added in to add those super bright highlights on the strawberry. But I like the different color variations within that blueberry. And, you know, being able to push myself out of my comfort zone and draw some food. Oh, my sardines page. Look at that sardine. That sardine looks so awesome. And then a can of sardines, as well as a tomato, since they were sardines in tomato. And I honestly love sardines. Sardines on like a cracker. Delicious. I know that not everybody feels the same, but anyway, I love the way this sardine turned out. So happy. Once again, that was alcohol markers, and then I used the colored pencils to go back in and add some of those finer details. And then the white here is done in some white gel pen. But super happy with this whole page. I mean, the tomato's cute. I kind of like the sardines and then like the little fishes, but the actual sardine, I am super proud of how well that turned out. And then just playing around with flowers. I don't remember exactly what supplies I used here. I want to say that this was also just alcohol markers, and then probably like one of these Pilot Juicy pens, just to be able to add that outline. I do actually really love these pens. They're not super expensive. You can get them on Amazon, and they come in a huge variety pack, so you can have a bunch of different options when you're actually drawing. Oh, my fishes again. So I had done this in my last sketchbook, and it was just so much fun. I loved actually coloring them all in. I loved how bright and vibrant each of them were, and it just, you know, gave me a huge smile when I worked on it. And one day I couldn't figure out what I wanted to draw, and I like revisiting things that I've already drawn before and seeing if I can improve upon them. And I would say that I really like all of them, except I don't like this guy and I don't like this guy. If I could remove those from the paper, I would be a lot happier, but can't do it. They're there. I also really love the way that the tentacles turned out and the eyeball on this one. And then back to some more food. I had so much fun doing those fruit that I decided to go and do some veggies. And so, although I think corn is technically a grain, it's not a veggie. Anyway, so going back to a lot of alcohol marker used here in the beginning of this sketchbook. So alcohol marker, and then I want to say that those are Prismacolor color pencils, but I don't know. I think they're Faber-Castell Polychromos, if I had to guess correctly. But I think I could honestly do a whole sketchbook full of just like fruits, veggies, and food and dessert. I think that would be an awesome sketchbook. I would excel at that. It'd make me really hungry, but it'd be fun to work through. Ocean High, class of 23. As some of you may remember, in one of my old sketchbooks here just a couple years ago, I did a Wado Potato class of, I want to say it was 21. I'll make sure I show a picture somewhere in this realm. And I kind of liked that whole idea of doing like a class photo. So I decided to take different characters from different ocean themed / water themed movies and put them all out there. And I think it's great. I mean, Penny will forever always be my favorite. None of them compare in comparison to Penny, but yeah, if you guys can think of another theme that I should do for one of these class photos, please let me know in the comments below, because I had a ton of fun. And then I also love how the background of the actual page is a beach where the water's coming up and then receding back into the ocean. I thought that was super fun. For me, a very successful page. I think the only one I'm not super happy with is the way that Elsa looks, but we can't all be perfect. And then here I was just playing around with a ballpoint pen and some colored pencil and just working through some different portraits just to kind of add a different level of interest, since the beginning of my sketchbook had really been, well, let's see, florals, food, and people. Although I guess this is also people, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anywho. Oh yeah. I go to our downtown farmers market. Downtown? Yes. Downtown farmers market all summer long, and Pine Hill Farm is one of my favorite places to go. Their flower arrangements are so beautiful. I actually filmed a video on doing these gouache paintings in this sketchbook, and I have yet to edit it. If you guys think I should edit it and still post it out to my page, leave me a comment just saying edit that video. I don't know, and I will actually edit it out, or edit it and put it out there is what I should say, not edit it out. Anyway, so I had just taken different flowers from the bouquet arrangement that I had gotten and decided to try out gouache in the sketchbook. I would say of the flowers, I love the way this looks. Obviously there was some transfer between the pages because I do take my sketchbook with me everywhere. It's kind of hard to avoid that without putting a piece of parchment paper, a piece of tracing paper, or something in between when it comes to something like gouache. But very happy with the loose brush strokes. I'm really trying to be more expressive in the brush strokes I'm using and not go down to grabbing every single nitty-gritty detail. And then some more alcohol markers. So eat more color. And then a color wheel of a bunch of different fruits. And then I tried to pull different types of candy because, you know, candy is also colorful. It doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy, but Swedish Fish will always be a favorite. The blue Jolly Ranchers. Honestly, the blue Sour Patch Kids are probably one of my favorite candies of all time, but the real creme de la creme, and I didn't draw it here because I wasn't sure how successful I could make it, is the Nerds Clusters. Why are they so good? They are literally so good, so satisfying. And then did some apple rings, because that to me is like an instant. I had so many apple rings as a kid. But just some more alcohol markers with colored pencil. I had outlined, and I believe one of these gel pens again, just because they're easy and they do come in such a variety of colors. Oh, the fish. This, I want to say, is actually done. I don't believe it's in the Pilot gel pen. I want to say this is a red Mushi pen, but just some cross-hatching and line work to be able to create these two beautiful fish. And I am so happy with how that page turned out. It's a very successful page. I'm not happy. I don't know if you guys can see that, like, some of the yellow has come through over time. That's sad, but oh well, it's a sketchbook. It's gonna happen. And then here I had bought some new supplies. So I had bought a bunch of these, as you can see here listed. And then I had also bought some of these midliners, and I think that was it. Yeah, because these were also the same brand, but they were the glitter version. So just color swatching those into the sketchbook and then seeing if I liked how they behaved. I love how, like, the purple and the gold background have a bit of a shimmer to it. In all honesty, though, I have not used those since that page, so we'll see how much I use them in the future. Bugs. I love drawing bugs. I don't know why. They're just kind of satisfying to draw. They're colorful and fun and have weird patterns. Ooh, ballpoint pen. So this is literally just done using one of these Bic round stick, cheap. I want to say they're like 7 cents a piece when you buy them in the massive box. No, I'm not sponsored by Bic. I mean, they could send me some of these. I would use them. I love them. But I just like how easy it is to be able to carry something like this in your sketchbook and you're ready to go. You could do portraits, you could draw other things, you could later decide to go back in and gouache over what you had done in ballpoint. The possibilities are endless, and I just think it's super satisfying when you can create such awesome portraits with such a basic, cheap material. I feel like for me, that just proves that you don't have to have like the most expensive supplies in order to create great things. And don't think that that should be something that limits you just because you can't buy the nicest of nice things. I'll get off my soapbox now. And then just playing with another set of markers. I had bought these. They're supposed to be water soluble. And then I was so paranoid after I did these two to add water to them because I was afraid I was going to mess them up that I didn't. I promise I will try that in one of my upcoming sketchbooks. I just really liked the way the portraits look, and yeah, I didn't want to ruin it. Oh my gosh, more bugs. Say it isn't so. So this is using one of those the Pilot Juice pens, and then some of the Zebra midliners. And I liked that I could have just a couple colors with me and be able to create all of these funky bugs with their funky shapes and patterns, and then replicate it to where they're all cohesive with that same color background and the same color on their bodies, but each bug is different. These are great. I feel like I should make each of these in an individual sticker and then have like the front of one of my sketchbooks just be bugs, because the ongoing joke with a lot of my friends is, hey Rachel, what'd you draw today? Did you draw some bugs? Yeah, probably. Or I was at least thinking about it. Oh yeah. So I did this drawing when I was on the airplane going down to Florida, working through just some of the final drawings. I'd done some in the airport and then worked through like this bottom section on the airplane. And then on our connecting flight, I had actually done this one, and this is just black Moji pen. And the ladies behind me the whole way, I only was able to actually finish 2 of them and like start on this one, but they essentially just watched me the entire time drawing in my sketchbook. And yeah, it was a ton of fun to be able to have those different conversations with the people as they pass by, and our very helpful flight staff, because that one did have quite a bit of turbulence, which required me to stop drawing quite a few times. And I kind of just figured that nobody'd be able to see all the mess ups. I mean, I can see where they are, but just a bunch of lines to be able to draw some flowers. And then when we were in Florida, we obviously ate some good food, because if you know anything about me, you know that I love food. And so one of our first things that we ended up having was McDonald's, which is obviously not the creme de la creme of food. But when it's 11 o'clock at night and you've been flying for basically 18 hours, McDonald's is the creme de la creme, because that's what I wanted to be able to have before I went and crashed in our hotel room. And then we had gotten some pizza when we did the layover at Chicago, I believe. And so this was just the little slice of the pizza. And one of the first places we went to, we had some oysters, and my kids were obsessed with shrimp. I'm unfortunately allergic to shrimp, but my kids ate a crazy amount of shrimp while we were in Florida. So that was pretty cute to see their first experience with it and just that true passion for a food. And this was done using watercolor and then going back over it with some colored pencils. I had taken a small set, just like a small bag of supplies down with me, just trying to not carry too much. And so just playing through stuff. I think I actually did this in my parents' camper when we were parked at the Daytona 500, and just kind of using one of the rainy days to get some stuff put in my sketchbook. And then here is some more watercolor with just some funky different patterns on it. Nothing too crazy, but just wanted to be able to fill a page, and so played with watercolor and then went back over it with the replicating pattern. Oh yes, I like how this is kind of like a travel diary for me, because I remember where I had these. So we had, when we were in Florida, we ended up going down to Cocoa Beach because we were going to watch one of the launches, and we went to this amazing pizza restaurant. I've been there a couple times. Every time the food is phenomenal. But this was our bottle of water that we had ordered with our wine, and I just loved the way that the light had reflected, so wanted to capture it when we got back to our hotel room and use some watercolors and a bit more of the, I want to say, Faber-Castell Polychromos. I was going to add something over here, but I really liked the way that looked, and I didn't want anything to take away or distract from this water bottle. And so I just left it. And I love it. I'm glad that I didn't do anything. Once again, I think that'd be a cool sticker, but that's just me. I like stickers. And more bugs. I like drawing bugs. I don't know why. I worked on these actually on the way home from Florida. I had hoped to do more in my sketchbook while we were in Florida, but I was living my best life, eating all the food, spending time at the beach, checking out all the stuff at the Daytona 500. So Didn't get to it as much, but I don't regret it. These were fun to work on the way back. The cabin pressure was a little bit different, and the only reason why I say that is I didn't have any problems working with my markers on our flights out, but something about the one flight on the way back, it kept like making all of my markers leak a ton out. So there's a bunch of like little imperfections that I hadn't planned for, but I still love it. I love the variation in color. I love all my funky made up bugs and the pattern. So back to the zebra midliners using the Pilot Juice pens, and then added in some additional details with some colored pencils. All right, so I have done this drawing a few times in my sketchbooks, and really all it is shapes that are repeating themselves that I do. This round I had done in alcohol markers, so the base color, so each of these little humps, the base color is done in alcohol markers, and then I went back in over top and added in all the little details with alcohol markers. And those I use a different variety. I don't stick to just one type of alcohol marker just because I haven't necessarily found a brand that I am head over heels for. So I like different colors from different brands. But just going back to the replicating pattern, and I love how bright and fun this page is. This is obviously a rooster. So this rooster, is this, I want to say it's watercolor. Yep, that's watercolor because it's not bled through on the back of it. So watercolor and then some colored pencils just to do this random rooster. I don't know that I've ever drawn a rooster before, but I was trying to expand and try new things, and so I drew a rooster in my sketchbook. Oh my gosh, bugs! Say it isn't so! I love bugs. Like, love bugs. Seriously, what is there to not love about these funky bugs that don't actually exist, that kind of look like bugs but not real bugs, and their patterns and the colors? And I like that it's not all matchy but they all kind of flow together. Yeah, it's just fun. And then here I was just playing around with alcohol markers again. You know, for saying that I wanted to remain creative and, what was that? Push myself. I sure did use a lot of alcohol markers in this sketchbook. I didn't really think I had until I'm going page by page. And now I realize that there is a lot of alcohol marker in this sketchbook. I digress. Worked on some portraits here, and these are done with alcohol markers and going back in with colored pencils and trying to keep the movements pretty loose. I didn't want to get every nitty-gritty detail, but you can obviously still tell these are people, and like you can tell that's a hat. At least I hope you can tell that's a hat. I would say of these, I don't know what one I like the most. I think I actually like this one the most. I don't know why. It's the last one I drew. I drew that one first, that one second, and that one third. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. So I ask for drawing ideas from friends and family. And so I'd asked my friend Nick for an idea, and he said to draw hams. And so I did. And so this is the hams bear, and starting out, the hams is flowing out of the can over a waterfall. You have the hams beer right on the edge, and then that water is flowing into another section where he's relaxing, almost like Baloo from Jungle Book. And then that water continues to flow into the sky and into the lake image at the bottom, where we have this huge I don't know if it's considered a smallmouth or a largemouth bass, but a bass getting ready to be caught as he sets out to go fishing, since Hams is from the land of sky blue waters. And this is probably one of my favorite sketchbook drawings I've ever done. It was fun to be given the prompt to draw Hams, and then looking through the different advertisements and different shirts, and some of which I own myself, and figuring out how I could encompass different aspects of Hams all on a single page. I mean, that is one of the huge benefits of this page being so big, is I had a lot of space to work with, so I didn't feel like I was getting too close to the edges. And yeah, it's done in alcohol markers with colored pencils, and I am so beyond happy with how this turned out. I was worried when I first started. I was like, I don't know that this is going to turn out all right. It's my sketchbook, so it doesn't really matter. But super proud of how this page turned out. Makes me almost not want to flip the page. All right, and then on this next page, I did a drawing that was requested by Blake. And so Blake, here is your fennec fox. This is also done, actually, no, this is not, is this? Nope, not alcohol markers. This was watercolor that I went back in with some colored pencils to be able to add in those finer details. But her favorite fox is a fennec fox, and so I decided to draw one for her and did a whole page on it. And yeah, I really like the way that this looks, and I love their like super long fuzzy ears. And then this is the last page. This last page is also a recommendation from my friend Nick, and then Shane had sent me a bunch of reference photos, and so I drew some praying mantis because it fits with my bug theme. So I did like a normal praying mantis with alcohol markers and some colored pencils in the colors of a praying mantis, and then I did the extra one and didn't want to have like two so close to one another, so did this one in gray. I don't know. But yeah, this is my sketchbook, full of a variety of things as far as for subject materials, but I would say for the vast majority of it, I did a lot of alcohol markers and colored pencils. All right, so there you go. That is my sketchbook tour. I am honestly really in love with these sketchbooks. The 64 pages makes it manageable to where I don't fall out of love with it. It's like the perfect amount of time to be in a sketchbook. For me, some of the really big ones get hard to finish because by the end, I'm kind of over it. I'm worried about ruining those previous pages because I'm carrying it with me too much. And I never felt that way in this size. I will say that the actual overall size of it is a lot bigger than what I would gravitate towards. I really wish this came in square. I'm a sucker for a good square sketchbook, but the paper was great. I also don't really like soft covers. I did figure out that they do come in hardcover, so I will probably do hardcovers going forward. But yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, there's not a single page in here that I wish I could tear out or completely redo. If anything, I feel like it just brings me so much joy looking back through and remembering just like the fruit. I want to do the fruit again soon. I think I'm going to do some tutorials on how to be able to draw fruit because it's not that many colors and it's so much easier than it actually looks. And then, yeah, I don't know. I will forever love doing the portrait drawings with the ballpoint pen. And then the hams. The hams just brings an instant smile to my face, because while that's a culmination of different things from hams within reason, I made it my own, and yeah, it turned out so good. I love it. I love it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this sketchbook tour. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I am trying to do better about actually posting and uploading videos, and I can't wait for you guys, honestly, to see this next sketchbook. As many of you know, I work multiple sketchbooks at the same time, so while August to March doesn't sound like that much time, or sounds like a lot of time for some, I'm normally working in like 3 or 4 sketchbooks at the same time, just because there's not really a good reason besides that. All right. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. I appreciate all those likes, and I really truly try to respond to all comments. So if you have questions, let me know. I'm here for you. But thank you for watching, and at the very least, I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day. See you again soon.